For my home, I really don't like to see wireless access points, or maybe really, it's my wife, but we still want great Wi-Fi coverage. That's why these type of ceiling mounted access points are really out of the question, and I picked up the U7 Pro wall. Because specifically for this guy, you can get a $39 paintable flush wall mount from Ubiquiti. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bogdan Shperny, founder of Apex One IT, and in this video, I'm going to give you a rundown of the U7 Pro wall. I'll show you what it takes to install this with that flush mount, and it's going to be in great detail, so if you're a beginner, it's perfect for you. And finally, I'll show the cool trick this has built in. It's not that large. It comes in at about 1.3 pounds. It's about 6 inches tall, 4 inches, 4.1 inches wide, and 1.4 inches thick. Looks like some ventilation holes on each side. It is rated for up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And some of it's aluminum, and obviously the front here is polycarbonate. And on the back we have the reset port, really on the bottom actually. And it is powered by PoE, so that's PoE in for power and data, and it is a 2.5 gigabit port. So that's because this is a Wi-Fi 7 access point, right? 6E, 7 has all of that, the 2.4, 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz bands. And you can of course turn on or disable whichever ones you want. It has 6 special streams, and it's designed to cover roughly 1,500 square feet and a ton of clients rated up to 300 devices. And this is actually the backing plate to mount either to a single game box or just straight to the wall. And then of course all the hardware. And the key is for up top here to release this tab, so when it's locked in, as you see, you push in and that depresses that tab. Okay, so we don't want to lose that, and I'll show you how to install all of that in a second, and definitely keep the key. I should mention this has a glossy white kind of reflective finish on here. So that's why this comes with different accessories, different ways to mount it. So this is just one of them, but it also has a paintable cover. So if you just install this on the wall, you can just get a paintable cover to match a little bit better, or a desk stand if you do like the look of this and you just quickly want to mount it. But I think its best feature is the flush mount that you can optionally get. So this comes in at $39, and don't miss the hardware that's right here. This is the cover itself, again obviously plastic, and that's for the LED light to shine through, right, the white or the blue. Then the actual in-wall adapter, and of course I'll show you how to install this, but you can kind of see 4 screws. You make the hole actually this way, and it'll plug in the RJ45 cable goes through there, and your cutout template with the mounting holes and a tiny little built-in level. Before we move on to the actual install of the flush mount, let me make sure, just because I won't be installing this, just so you know, right, you can install this, like I said, in a single gang box, or double I guess, but these are just your standard screws for that you can use. And then if you want to mount to the wall, there's drywall anchors or plastic anchors, and then the screws for that as well. And that's what you would use to mount this along with this template, and that's your pass-through for your RJ45 Ethernet cable. So I'm going to leave all this behind, and we'll take this and the hardware and we'll go install it. For the install, you're going to need a stud finder. Now you probably always need it, but this one is definitely more unique because you can't just make, a hole through a stud or something as with a regular AP, but this hole is going to be pretty big and the access point sits inside, so this whole spot needs to be open. So that's what you definitely need to access a stud finder to check for that. Mark it up with some tape. This is just a drywall knife. Pencil to mark up this template, of course. It does have a built-in level, so you don't need to worry about that. And you will be using the drywall anchors most likely, for sure, at least inside the house, outside drywall. And it's a 3/16 that you'll need. Then of course a drill or a driver to make that happen. Step 1 of the install here. Obviously think about where you're going to mount this. This here in this house, this is the entrance door right there. Now I used the stud finder to just mark out these studs, and there was something weird going on here with the horizontal. It's probably because I'm going to an exterior wall, so I'm just making it a little harder for myself. But I measured the center of this, of course, and that's my center line. And if you're buying this flush mount, then you already care about the aesthetic a lot, so just make sure it's level. That's what I got here. And good thing I checked this, because I would have thought, would want it lower, but because there's probably something in the way this tells me where to put it. Once your template's up, grab your pencil. You're going to mark all of this all the way around. So that's what you're going to cut out. And then these 4 holes are going to be your holes for your plastic anchors, which are going to need a 3/16 drill bit. And everything's marked, and that's the, as you can tell, the outside part, kind of where this gray line is. That's what we're gonna cut out. Take this off. And that's what it looks like. First, you want to cut out these holes. So I'm using the 3/16 bit. You know, this is a giant hole that this will be right here. So this is a good way to see and test that this is indeed hollow here, because you can repair that much easier. And then you're ready to get something like a drywall knife like this, or a multi-tool to cut that open. It's just gonna be very loud, dusty. Okay, so that took a little bit longer with the knife than I thought. Probably because of these rounded corners. That was like 5 minutes. Of course, there's some insulation because this is a exterior wall, but we should easily be able to get a cable up through there into the attic, connect it to the switch. And obviously what's nice about this, and you can see kind of the size of this hole, is that you have very easy access. You can fit a drill in there if you need to drill up through like a header or something like that. That's pretty nice. And it's a good time to grab the actual mount here, kind of dry fit it, just checking out the holes align that they do. Perfect. So now I'm not gonna record that part. Probably I'm gonna bring in the Ethernet cable through the top. Okay, so cable is pulled through. I have it terminated on both sides. By the way, you know, you can get one that's pre-terminated. You just have to make sure it doesn't have a boot on it like this. Then we got the flush in-wall bracket in. Obviously you pass the cable through, screw these in, and then we're going to plug this in. And you'll hear a nice click once you do, and you should get that light on and then flashing. That's ready to be adopted. Okay, so now we're going to place this in here. There's 2 notches down there, you see? That's where that goes, and then it clicks in to the top. So it's behind this tab. You'll pull up to take this out. And then this top tab is actually for the flush cover. Okay, that's where you use that unify key, kind of like those other access points, to remove it. On the back of this cover, right, you see that little tab right there at the center top. That's what's going to hook up on the back here. And this you just place over the top. As you can see, this is glossy now. This is already a nice, even if you leave it alone, it's at least nice and matte white. Okay, so push on, and now you'll see that light shines through. Just make sure it clicks everywhere and is actually flush right there. And this is when, if you want to remove this and actually paint it to match, I mean, this wall is white, so it looks pretty close. So just grab that unify key, place it in the top, push it down. Okay, and now, I mean, you should know it clicks in at each of these corners, kind of on the sides right there. This, that, and it's quite tough to remove. Okay, so don't worry that you're not breaking it. That's how you do that. And once it's adopted, that light turns blue. Here I have this is like an iPad Pro. It's basically the same size with this is just a Logitech case on the back, and look at that thickness, or thinness I should say. It's just a bit thicker than this Apple Pencil. So this is the regular size iPad for reference. What's interesting here is that, you know, when you're looking straight at it, the light is pretty intense blue, you can see it. Once you go a little off axis, it's barely noticeable. At this point, I have the U7 Pro Wall adopted into my Unify console here. So I'm at unify.ui.com. And if you don't know how to do that, just, you know, bring your Unify app close to the access point and it'll prompt you how to do that easily. So let's click into here, U7 Pro Wall. And if we go to first, let's click on Insights, and I'll just show you. I actually had this now running since the install for several months, I don't know, 6 months, something like that. But you can see that's what our memory looks like. It's been running fine. Our 6 gigahertz is pretty open here. And I'll show you here in a second how you can scan your actual Wi-Fi environment. In the overview, and I know some of the early adopters of the U7 Pro Wall, me included, had some issues with the IoT devices in the beginning, but with several updates now, I've had no problems. It's been stable for months, and I do have, as you can see here, there's actually like 35 plus IoT devices in my house, and connectivity has been fine, stable. AP's in my wall, by the way, and it does generate heat, but there's no fan as far as I know, not anymore, and it's still fine. One important thing you can do here in settings, and this will be important to you if you want to be even more discreet. Well, first of all, you can of course adjust the radios here for all three of the bands, 2.4, 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz, and then down here. So LED, as you saw, and I'll show you right now, there's a blue light indicator like with all unified access points when it's adopted and it's working properly. And it's pretty small here, it's not that super bright. However, if it's, if you want it more discreet, just go here and disable that LED, click apply changes, and there will be no light at all. So even more discreet. If you go here to overview, we can see right away how many devices are in what frequency, what band. So you see I actually only have one device, one client. On the 6 gigahertz, I don't have a lot here. But the cool trick here is in Radio Manager. And there's performance, but let's go to environments. Under environment, you'll see a new kind of option tab here called Airtime Scan. You probably didn't have this before, but you'll see I ran this scan just 2 hours ago. And this shows you, there's a key down here, utilization for all the channels, all the frequencies in your environment. Okay, so it actually is using the access point to scan your RF environment. So that's pretty cool. Sometimes these scanners are a separate tool professionals use. So this is nice to see. For me, as you can see, 6 gigahertz, there's almost nothing happening there. And 5 gigahertz is pretty good. 2.4, a little bit congested here. If you're in, something like a townhouse or elsewhere and it's really congested, you'll see it here real quick. It's super easy then to see which channels are open, and you can change your pro wall or any other access point to actually use those channels instead. And you'll get much more stable Wi-Fi around your home or office. Just go back here to your unified devices, right? Select your pro wall, and here in settings, you can go ahead and select, those channels that are actually wide open and no one's using. And reliable Wi-Fi doesn't just depend on the radios and channels you select, but it'll greatly depend on the actual physical location, the installation of your access point. So before you just find a random wall and try to install this, you should really try to predict the Wi-Fi coverage or the square footage. And if you click and watch this video here, I walk you through the free Unified Design Center, where it actually predicts for you, models for you, the Wi-Fi coverage in every single band, 2.4, 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz, and it'll even show you the difference if you do a ceiling mounted access point or a wall mounted access point. And since you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.